We have multiple huge new Milwaukee Bucks updates to go over today, as we have a bunch of new reports that have dropped, revealing some big details surrounding the Bucks' health ahead of what's going to be a crazy game against the Indiana Pacers. Updates including Damian Lillard and some other interesting ones that have fans fired up. We also have some comments from Giannis Antetokounmpo revealing some very interesting things. Stay tuned for all that in this episode, folks. Before we get into it, if you're part of the 85% who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Bucks content. Your guys' support has been absolutely unbelievable. If you want to help us towards our big goal of 3,000 subscribers, it is just around the corner, folks. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Ladies and gentlemen, let's dive right into it. Today, there's a ton to go over. The Bucks play game 2 tomorrow against the Indiana Pacers, and the big question mark is, a few different things. Obviously, what Doc Rivers is going to do with the lineup, what Doc Rivers is going to do with the rotation. Most importantly, Damian Lillard, what is his health looking like ahead of a crucial game 2 for this team? And let's dive right into it here. So we got some breaking news just a little bit ago. Bucks star Damian Lillard with deep vein thrombosis has been upgraded to questionable for the Bucks Pacers game 2. The team has announced it is officially time for Dame, or is it officially time, for Dame in Indiana. Now, a few different things here. Obviously, the Bucks are on the road to start this series. We're aware of that, and game 2 is going to be crucial. If you can split the series in Indiana, bring it back home, you'll be in a very, very good spot prior to, of course, returning home. And the big question mark is surrounding Dame. Now, we got a bunch of new comments from Doc Rivers surrounding this. Let's dive right into this here. So you can see here, Milwaukee Bucks, Damian Lillard is listed as questionable, and he's taken another step forward. The Bucks had announced Thursday that Lillard was off the blood thinning medication, as we all know. But the injury report upgrading Lillard to questionable came out Monday, which was, of course, today, after Coach Doc Rivers had already spoken to reporters. Rivers said he didn't know whether Lillard would play Tuesday, but noted he had been making progress. We didn't do a lot of live stuff today, but he did everything today. Rivers said after Monday's practice, he's just progressing. He looks good. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is some huge news, because we know, it's been steps for Damian Lillard. There's initial reports that he was going to miss the start of the playoffs, and he could miss a lot more. And then the reports started to come down a little bit. And now to the point where he is going to be returning very soon. And I think game 3 is probably the most likely outcome at this juncture. But he is, according to Doc Rivers, even though the practice was light, he still contributed to everything within that practice. Now, that means both, they weren't going too physical. Of course, they have a playoff game tomorrow. But the fact that he is in everything and doing everything is fantastic news. And even being upgraded from out to questionable is very good news. Now, we'll probably have the full details tomorrow afternoon, would be my guess, prior to the game, about if he's 100% going to play. But we have some more things to go through here. Because the Bucks had 2 days off between games 1 and 2, they returned to Milwaukee to practice before heading back to Indianapolis for Tuesday's game. He last played March 18th, over a month ago. And again, he couldn't do much from a basketball standpoint while on his medication besides free throws, though he said specialists eventually permitted him to do some exercises such as lifting weights. And because of his lack of activity, we knew he was going to need a lot of time. And he said, I was able to be active and do some stuff, and then I got cleared to be on the court, and I was able to do some hard workouts and do some conditioning and stuff like that. So we'll see. The moment that I feel good about it, I'm not going to be waiting and all of that. The moment that I feel I can go, I'm going to go, which is also encouraging news, because we need the Bucks need Damian Lillard back. There's no doubt about it. They desperately need him. For all the question marks about whether or not he helps the team in the playoffs, whether or not the team's going to be able to roll without him, those have been absolutely answered, right? They've been answered right now by getting pummeled in game 1. Game 1 was an absolutely brutal, this performance. The starting lineup was bad. We know what lineup works surrounding Doc Rivers. They haven't been using it. And having Damian Lillard back will, A, replace Ryan Rollins in the lineup, but B, give them an opportunity to actually, hopefully, have a chance in this series. And I still, think the Bucks are going to win. They need to be able to limit the Indiana Pacers transition, their perimeter game, all these different things. But as it pertains to Dame, again, in 58 games, he was fantastic, right? Really, really good. And we know he got into it with Tyrese Halliburton. So I think he's going to be, he's going to try to play. And Tyrese spoke of that. He said, it can happen anytime. I would be surprised if it happened tomorrow, Halliburton said. So we got to be prepared for whatever it is. Understand that in the playoffs, it ain't about individual performances. It's about winning. And he said he wouldn't be surprised if it happens tomorrow, meaning the matchup of Dame and Tyrese Halliburton. Ladies and gentlemen, it is just around the corner. Extremely exciting. So let me know down below if you're excited for that. Hopefully it's game 2. If not, it'll be, all likelihood, all signs point to it being game 3. And game 3 would be back home in Milwaukee. Geez, a lot of M's. In Milwaukee, not in Indianapolis. But a few other things to go over today. Now, this report, I guess, this article drops surrounding Giannis, as he spoke out about what went wrong in game 1, about what kind of happened here. And I want to dive into a few different things. So it says, Bucks Giannis Antetokounmpo talks new game plan for game 2 versus Pacers. And he dives into, again, it was just one game, not a big deal, but heading into game 2, the Bucks know they need to do something different if they want a different outcome. Of course, let's assume Damian Lillard isn't playing and they're going to continue to send 3 or 4 guys at Giannis. I think we can do a better job just spacing the floor better and being more decisive when we get the ball. Try to attack Try to get in the paint. Try to create something either for yourself or someone else. And again, I think we can do a better job spacing the floor. This immediately pictures my brain to that screenshot I showed in the last video and the video before in the post-game video when Giannis was at the, on the block. He was posting up, and they had 3 or 4 Indiana Pacers. Rick Carlisle did in the area of Giannis Antetokounmpo. And even on the other side of the court, the opposite corner, they still had somebody else ready to help if Giannis drives. And one of the biggest issues for this Milwaukee Bucks team has been their, passing, especially in game 1 of the playoffs. They were not passing it with authority. They were not slinging the ball around with any sort of, actual effort, with any sort of zip on it. And what that means is that for an Indiana Pacers team who are going to thrive defensively off of effort, they don't have a ton of lockdown defenders. If you're not passing the ball fast, you're not going to be, and if you don't look like a threat, then everybody else is going to, suffer from it. And Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to suffer the most. You can see this here, some more things. The Bucks can shoot better from distance. It could change everything. Milwaukee shot horribly from three-point land, but to the Pacers' credit, they forced Milwaukee to take bad shots throughout the contest, and the Bucks missed a lot of shots. I think if the Bucks hit more threes, obviously they're going to win the game, but they missed a bunch of wide open threes. Like the Bucks are going to be fine. I think they're going to win the series. But at the same time, you got to give some credit to Indiana here. The Pacers did a nice job on offense themselves. Offensively, they were great. Defensively, they were great. But on defense, for the Bucks side, Antetokounmpo said, I think we were late. We were getting ourselves in a lot of scramble mode, which they were able to get downhill and create for the next guy. And then we were just in scramble modes, which, guess what? He is 100% right. They were scrambling on defense. They were unable to actually, they were getting beat relentlessly. And especially in that first quarter, you could see Tyrese Halliburton, TJ McConnell, just take it to Kevin Porter Jr., take it to whoever was guarding ball, Gary Trent Jr., whoever it was, Ron Rollins, AJ Green. And the help side defense is Brook Lopez, who was too slow to get over there in time. When you have quick guards like Indiana does, Tyrese Halliburton, TJ McConnell, they also have guys like Benedict Mather and Aaron Nesmith, all these different guys who are versatile. It's going to be very tough for this Bucks team to be able to win a game if they're continuing to play the way that they did in last game. Yes, shots will drop. Yes, they're going to be better offensively and hopefully better defensively, but it's a lot of effort and a lot of what I'm worried about a little bit is structure things, but also, of course, it's about their lineup. And Giannis might be the best player, but the Pacers have a massive depth advantage. And this is obviously an interesting question as well. Tyrese, Siakam, Turner. I think ultimately they're very evenly matched. The Bucks do need to, however. I think the Bucks clearly have the best player in the series. They probably have the best 2 players in the series, depending where you rank Siakam and Tyrese Halliburton. They need to rock. I would like to see Doc Rivers rock the move of, Damian Lillard, Gary Trent Jr., AJ Green, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Brook Lopez. Like, throw that lineup out there. Throw something out there that will get them offensive looks and that will help Giannis, because Giannis cannot do it on his own. He was the best player on the court in the game against Indiana, but they still lost by double digits. They got absolutely pummeled. So it's going to be interesting. Let me know down below what your thoughts are on this. A bunch of new updates coming. And, of course, as we continue to inch closer and closer, hopefully the Bucks can clutch it up and make it in the just split the series heading home. That's the biggest thing that we're looking for now. Thank you guys for watching. See you later.